Welcome, everybody. Today is Thursday. We're here at the 10th annual Revere Beach Sand Sculpting Festival. Debbie, it's been about a week since the sand drop last Friday, and things are really starting to ramp up.
They really are. All the sculptures the sculptures are starting to come together. We need to talk to a couple more sculptors. But it's really amazing. The main sculpture has almost done. It's just really the final touches. Yeah. But the main focus is the actual individual sculptures, and it's amazing, yeah. Really amazing.
It's incredible. And earlier this week we talked to a number of the sculptors about what they may be doing, and now we're starting to see what they are going to do. Yeah.
Yes, and it being a festival also, now we're starting to see a lot of the Ferris wheel coming in and a lot more of the festival happening.
Yeah, a lot of piece of the festival. And as we go on later on in this segment, we're going to be taking you to some of the preparations that are going on today and talk a little bit about what this place is going to start to look like. I mean, things are going to start to ramp up right now because, the sculptors are working on their pieces. And now we have all the logistical pieces taking place. We'll have food trucks arriving. The stages will be getting set up. It's amazing how the energy is going to ramp up here the next few days.
Right, and so now I think what we're going to do now is hear from Meredith, and we'll be back.
Yep, be back.
We're at Justin's plot. It is late in the afternoon on day 2 of the competition. We spoke a little bit yesterday about the criteria and what they're judged on, and one of the categories that we added this year, we're always tweaking the judging system, trying to get it as perfect as we can. But one of the categories we added was usage of sand. You can see what Justin's doing. He already has a main piece that's had a whole lot of sand carved off of it, and he's reusing that sand. So he'll score really well on usage of sand. And last year, Justin did the same thing, and we didn't have that category. So it was one of the things that we took into consideration this year because all the sculptors have the same amount of sand. So Justin's taking advantage of using it very well. He has a pretty intricate cut through going on up there. We did see that yesterday when he first started, and I did guess that it was going to be something cut through. I think this is I know this is a recreation of a piece that Justin attempted to do here quite a few years back, and it collapsed. In the sand sculpting world, we frown upon people doing the same piece, but not if it wasn't complete. Like if you attempt something and it's pretty difficult, a lot of sculptors will do it again to, so that they can see the finished product. And Justin, when he did it the last time, he had a technique with the sand where he was just pounding it. He wasn't getting it soaking wet. He didn't use water. And this time he's trying it, and he used water this time, and it looks like it worked. Okay, we're at Benjamin's site. If anybody who's familiar with Benjamin, he's known for his very Dali-ish style, and here he is. He's once again very Dali-ish. He has the one face head that is cut in half, and inside you can see a skull. Very realistic face, and it's pretty difficult to get the symmetry. The sculptors appreciate that difficulty of the symmetry when they're doing their judging. They take that into consideration. We are at Steve Tapazio's plot. Looks like he has a phoenix, maybe some type of bird going on. It's nice. It's flowing. It's got some clean lines. He has a cut through there underneath the beak. He does still have on his bottom form, so he'll have to take that off at some point. He does have a bit of weight up on top there, so that might be a concern for him. And we'll see tomorrow. Okay, we're at Edith's piece. First thing you notice when you walk up here is it's simplistic looking, but that's very deceiving. What she's doing is very difficult to get those walls, or that wall, completely round and level. And you can see she does have a level, and she's pushing it down to get the excess sand off down at the bottom. She's leaving that block to the left for some reason. She's going to be using that to do something. Oh, looks like I'm standing on the fence and I can see the top, and it looks like she's hollowing out down inside the cylinder. So I would look for something cut through to the inside on this sculpture. You can also see a feature on Edith's pound up. You can see the layers. When they're throwing in the sand and water, sand and water, sand and water, and it kind of settles, you get that look. You get that layered look. And some of the sculptors actually do that intentionally for an effect in their sculpture. Edith she's climbing up on one of her forms, and now look, she's actually standing on that block of sand that is out to the side. So that'll tell you how strong that sand is. But you'll also see that she's standing right in the middle of it. If she puts her weight on the outside edge of that, she can knock pieces of it off. Okay, now we can see how deep she is, how hollowed out that is down inside there. Wow. Yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to something being cut through. Oh my goodness. She's very deep down in there. It'd be really interesting to see what she does with this. Okay, we're at Joby's plot. He is well underway. You can see a lot of cutting out, and you'll see more cutting out as he blocks out the outside of whatever it is. Goodness knows, I can never tell with Joby until I see it finished. Okay, we're at Joby's piece, and goodness, all I can say is wow. This is the first time I've walked around any of these, and I'm looking into the back of whatever it is. Like, again, I said with Joby, I never can tell, and it'll definitely have some meaning to it. It's not just there for nothing. There's a reason whatever it is that's going to be maybe swallowing this shark, or you can take a look down in here and see almost like ribs, and then there's a shark inside. It's beautiful already. Joby just knows how to make things pop, and that's one of the category is wow factor. And when the sculptors are supposed to judge each piece and walk right up to it, and what is their initial impact, how much wow factor. And this is what I'm talking about right now, when you just walk up to this right here with the shark in the center, and I'm on the side of it now with these holes, deep cut. They're not cut through, but there's a lot of shadow, and the texture he has, and these kind of horseshoe shapes undercut up at the top so it gives it more shadow. Those are the things that make it pop, and that's very significant when you're talking about wow factor. Another category is quality of carving and cleanliness and lines. That all plays into factor in that category, and you can see the quality of the carving. It's beautiful. Okay, we're at Mary Ann's plot, and she is nicely protected here under the umbrella, and you'll notice that it also gives her sculpture shadow, so you can see lines in it. Makes it pop a little bit more. We were joking around and saying that she's doing a replica of Chris. Those of you who know Chris will think that's very funny. One of the things we do in sand sculpting, sometimes depending on the sand we're using, is when we're going to undercut something, like for example looking at the gorilla right here under the neck, she might be leaving that sand right there temporarily. You cut it a little bit, step away from it, and go carve something else. Let it dry out a little bit, and as it dries out, the sand gets a little bit lighter. So then she can come back and do it in phases. Keep undercutting. If you undercut it all at once, the whole chin, jaw, and head can collapse. So I'll be anxious to see if that's what she's doing. We'll know the next time we come by the sculpture. Okay, we're at Dan Belcher's piece. Beautiful already. Almost majestic right now. I'm not sure what he's going to be doing with the rest of it. But Dan is very good with the body, human anatomy, and where everything is supposed to go. And we talk a lot about cut-throughs in sand. People are really impressed with cut-throughs. Well, there are easy cut-throughs and difficult cut-throughs. This sand is very easy to cut through. It's very strong and it's structural. But then you get to a cut-through like he has right here under the arm. He didn't put a cut-through there just for it to be there. It has to be there because that's where the arm is. And it's a more riskier move than if you're doing a castle with a cut-through, because if this arm falls off, he's missing an arm. Whereas with a castle, if the tower falls off, you can just make it you can turn it into something else, or you can put the tower somewhere else. So this is riskier and it's more difficult. He also has something going on over here with, it's going to mean something in the piece eventually. Dan doesn't put things somewhere just for it to be there for decoration or to take up space. These squares, whatever they represent or whatever they are going to be, definitely will mean something in the overall, mean something to the overall sculpture. One of the difficulties with carving anatomy is kind of what Dan is doing now. He's on the back of the sculpture and he's carving the man's back. He could very easily have covered that with something, whatever the squares are going to be on the other side. He could have surrounded the man in those too, but he's taking the time to cut out the back, and that has to be anatomically correct and in the right place. So that's that's another thing that's important when they get to the judging part of this. Okay, we're at Sumagru's piece. Looks like two people embracing. This is the block out phase of it. Next time we come by, we'll see a lot more detail. But you'll notice something on the arm here. There's a little blue and silver foil kind of looking thing sticking out. And we're thinking it might be a juice pouch. We have no idea how that got into the pound up. It had to have been in one of the shovels of sand that she threw up there. It might have been sand that was close to the beach level and got mixed in there somehow from the natural beach. Now, what's going to happen is she has to take that out, and depending on how big it is, it might just be a piece of a juice pouch, or it might be the whole thing. So it'll be interesting to see how she takes that out and how big it is. Oh my, wow, I haven't seen this since yesterday. What has he got going on here? I have no clue. Oh, here's a face. Okay, I'm walking to the front of it now. Wow, that's very dramatic. Hi, Dan. And I'm going to go walk around back and see what he's got going on back there. It looks very cool so far. Don't know what he's going to do with it, but it's very interesting looking. And it is definitely dramatic. Oh, my goodness. Oh, my goodness. Wow, this is wow. I guess it's 10 feet sheer. Holy moly. Wow. That's pretty risky. Oh my goodness. Oh, look. Around the backside. Yeah, it's like, wow. I'm so surprised. I haven't seen any of it since yesterday at late yesterday afternoon. And so much has happened since the last time I saw it. And you just walk up to it and go, oh my goodness, it's so sheer and so tall. I like the technique with the hair. I'm guessing, I'm not sure, but I'm guessing it's a combination of a water hose spray bottle technique plus some carving and cutting out after you spray with the water. You can see down at the bottom it's smoother, and I think he's already done some water texture technique down there. And then up at the top you can see some like jagged, gives it more pop, it gives it more shadow, and after you do the water technique you come back in with a tool and pick certain parts of it out. It gives it more shadow and makes it pop more. We're at Chris Ginto's piece, and I just walked up and I was like, wow, Chris, look at you. Taking some lessons from Joby, it looks like.
That one around here is going to get you beat.
Nice. I mean, I'm pleasantly surprised. I haven't seen this since yesterday, very late in the day, and he's done a lot of detail, and it's clean, it's neat, a lot of shadows. He's working the sand very well. What Chris is doing right now, as you can see down in there, that's what we call, I don't know, what do we call it? That's not really an overhang. not an undercut, but he is getting down to where he's cutting under. But when you get down in deep like that, and you can see the dark and all the shadows in there, you have to cut deep to get that effect. And that is taken into consideration in degree of difficulty category, because the more you cut, the more you risk things collapsing. Nice, Chris. I like it.
Well, thank you, Meredith. Now I can't talk about you anymore.
We're with Amazing Walter. How's it going, Amazing?
Oh, it's late and it's hot, and sharks, I'm having a lot of fun.
You should be used to this, though, being from Texas.
Well, just being used to it and being cool about it is two different things. You know, it doesn't make it less than 100 degrees just because it's in Texas.
That's true. That's true. How are you coming along here on your castle?
Well, I keep feeling like I'm way behind, but that's crawling around up at the top always takes longer than you think it's gonna. And I think I'll get to burning on it tomorrow and put it to bed.
Is the outhouse there yet?
Nope.
We're looking forward to seeing the outhouse.
Oh, okay.
I kind of glanced around and I didn't see it yet. Sometimes it's way up on the top of a tower, sometimes it's down below, but we'll look for it tomorrow.
I have done double deckers and triple deckers and all kind of variations.
Unique outhouses.
Yeah.
Kind of like you.
Oh. Unique.
Thank you, Walter.
Thank you.
We're at Wilford's plot, and it looks like Wilford is still doing his pound up. I haven't been down here since late yesterday. I'm imagining that whatever it was he was doing yesterday with the different colored sand is taking quite a bit of time, and something that's time consuming. If it works, it's great. And if it doesn't, then you've spent a lot of time on something that wasn't as effective as you thought it was going to be, but that's one of the risks. And that's what this medium is all about, taking risks. And you're not rewarded if you don't take risks. We'll see. I'm really anxious and curious to see what happens when he takes these forms off and what we see. Okay, we're at Rusty's plot. Rusty is nicely covered by the shade over here. That helps. Last time we came by here, he was cutting that circle where the yellow piece of rope was. I don't know if Rusty planned this or not, but you'll see he's just standing at his own height, right on the ground, eye height, which is very comfortable for carving. If you look at the other sculptors, they're up on forms, they're walking around on a little 2-inch ledge of wood, they're down on their hands and knees, they're climbing all over the place, they're bent all over, their arms are, you don't realize, you get so into what you're doing that you're in the same position for 20 minutes. And Rusty gets to just stand there and be real comfy.
Rusty's getting old.
Did you plan that, Rusty? Okay, something tells me that Rusty might have a stress crack or fracture here, and the only reason I'm saying that is because his form ended right here where the flatness is, and he has added sand to the back. And usually that means you're putting weight up there to protect it and hopefully prevent a collapse. And I'm walking around to the other side. Looks like he might have patched something here. What we do if we have a crack, we put a patch on it, kind of like a Band-Aid, and we leave one end of the crack open and the bottom end, and then put flat, fill it in the middle, and then come back and take a look at it. And if that crack is back again, then that means it's spreading. That's not good. But I don't see any of that, so maybe he has stopped, if that is even the fact. I'm not completely sure there was a crack. Do you have a crack Band-Aid going on here?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Massive crack all the way across here.
Oh. Okay.
So I just rubbed it out and see if it's growing.
Yep.
So far so good.
Okay, well, with that kind of a crack, what that means, what Rusty was just talking about, the cracks, the way he showed it to me where it is, if you come around the front, this is why. Because of the depth he has going down here into the center, you have all this weight up on top, and that weight wants to just come down. That's why he got that crack up there. So his options now are just to wait and see what happens, and to not carve any more of that sand away that's supporting that weight up above it. Okay, we're at Sandy Feet's plot, and I just climbed over the fence because I walked right up to it, and it's one of those pieces that I want to stand back and look at because it's forced perspective, and it's with the flat walls and the different depths and levels that she has. It's much more powerful, I think, and much more unique to stand back and take a look at it. More effective is the word that I was looking for. And she is working on that piece in the front. Oh, there's a face coming out there, and that will have something to do with it. Oh, nice. Very nice. You can see how clever some of these sculptors are. It gets pretty hot out here. Sandy has an umbrella. She has cut little holes in the top to make little wind escapes, because it is a little bit windy now, so the umbrella doesn't blow away. And she also has it zip tied to the handle of her shovel. They're very creative and find creative ways to make themselves comfortable in this heat. Okay, we're at Sandis's plot. Sandis is one of the sculptors that is being affected a little bit by the weather. He is from Latvia. He's not used to this heat, and yesterday he had a pretty rough day. He got heat stroke yesterday, set him back a little bit, but he is feeling much better this morning. And you can see he's got his shade now and carving away. Very simplistic. Sometimes that looks like, oh, that's easy. It's not. It can be just as difficult to get nice, smooth lines as it is the deep and dark and detailed ones.
Hey, here we are with Chris Muscles Junta.
Ginto, but muscles you got right.
But the muscles part I got right. So let me ask you, Muscles, how are we doing with the sculpture?
Yeah, I'm still number one. You know, I will say this. I'm doing okay, but everybody here, the buzz is already happening. They're like, oh, Joby's going to win. Joby's going to win again. I'm like, you know what?
It's not happening, is it?
It's not this year. And let's just say if he does win, which I highly doubt. Let's not forget one thing. I mean, Joby wouldn't be Joby if it wasn't for this. Let me put it to you this way.
Now, don't hold back.
Who would Superman be if there was no Lex Luthor? He would just be ordinary Clark Kent typing away. Who's Luke Skywalker without Darth Vader? He would still be with Uncle Owen, farming, whatever they were doing out in the desert.
I see. You're the dark side.
You know what? I brought Batman. If it wasn't for the Joker, there'd be no Batman. If it wasn't for me, Joby wouldn't be winning year after year after year. I push him.
So if you want to come down to the beach and see the dark side, Chris is your man. Chris Muscles.
Lex Luthor Ginto.
You have the inside story. I'm here with Dan Doubleday, and I'm just asking Dan, what's it like being Chris, the dark side neighbor?
For 3 years in a row?
For 3 years in a row.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
I don't know how this happens.
How did you, do you pick lots? Do you pick the short straw? I mean, how does this work?
It's the curse of Revere. I don't know. I don't know till I get here who I'm next to for 3 years now, and that's why we have these little things here.
Now, does Meredith make this happen? Have you done something wrong at all?
It's a thought, you know, I never thought about it till now. Yeah, probably. Because when you have 15 people, the odds of being next to the same person 3 years in a row is pretty rare.
Well, I did say, I mean, he is definitely comic relief to us. I mean, we have a lot of fun listening and talking to him, but you know, you definitely keep your earphones and your earplugs in.
Well, the good part of him talking all the time, we do more work than he does, so he doesn't place. You know that.
So he never placed?
Well, everybody places. Everybody places. It might be 15th, but he places. You can brag about that. I placed in every event. Well, you might have placed last, but you placed. Yes, he places every event.
I'm sure it's killing him to sit there and listen to us and not make a comment. But this is your interview.
He's got his earphones out. Chris is a great friend. You know, he's so diverse. He's so interesting. You know, I mean, if you could just even tap his background, you would have a story. You know, he's got so many things going on in his life. You know, so.
No, I totally agree. He is a lot of fun, and I just said I wish all the artists were as much fun as he is. It makes it so much, you know, we love having you guys come to Revere. You're so much fun. You're so interesting, and we love your personalities.
I picked the artists that come here. What are you trying to say? They're not
you
fun?
guys,
I mean,
you are all fun. But there are some major players that come here, and you guys are great.
Yeah, it's a good group. Well,
It's a good group.
Yeah,
Thank
we
you.
love it here.
Yeah, we love having you guys. Thank you.
Thank you. See ya.
All right, we're standing in front of one of the first spots in the whole development that's taken place over the next couple of days is going to be the entertainment stage.
Yes. You know, it's moved down. Originally, the stage was the bandstand. Am I correct?
It was.
And now they're setting up the stage, and it's, as you can see, further down from the bandstand. But we were just talking, Ed and I, and we think that, you know, this looks like it's more open to the public.
Right. One of the issues that have been brought up by people in the past events is that in the other location it was kind of somewhat congested. And in this location you have people can spread out from the beach and enjoy the entertainment, spread out on the boulevard and enjoy the entertainment. So it looks to me like this is a much better location for the entertainment stage.
As much as we love the bandstand,
Yeah.
and it's near and dear to our hearts, absolutely 100%. It does look like they're going to be able to pack more people. It won't be as
Yep.
congested.
Yep.
Yeah, so it does look great.
Right. So we're going to move on from here down towards the little carnival area so that you can kind of see what's going on down in that way. Tomorrow we'll bring you back over here. The stage should be further along in its erection, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, and I guess it starts 10 o'clock tomorrow morning. You'll be seeing some entertainment live on the stage.
That is correct. Tomorrow morning, starting at 10 o'clock, the entertainment begins.
Yes.
Yep.
So,
We'll be back tomorrow. Hopefully you'll get to see some of the entertainment. You'll see the stage as it exists.
absolutely.
Follow us on to the next location. All right, well, we're standing in front of the Dragon Wagon, one of the amusements here in the amusement park's center of the festival.
We certainly are. I think we've met the height requirements,
Yeah,
Ed.
I think I can do that.
And there's a Ferris wheel.
Yes, and as you can see up to the right, there's this huge Ferris wheel that's been erected right along the sidewalk. And then behind the Ferris wheel, if you come in, there is also going to be a merry-go-round. Everybody loves merry-go-rounds. Everybody loves Ferris wheels. And the Dragon Wagon, I think that's going to be like a little roller coaster thing, which should be a lot of fun.
Yeah,
So we've got...
It says no adults on this, but Ed, I think before we finish, you and I are going to have to do the Ferris wheel, as long as they let adults on that.
I think they'll let adults on that one.
Okay.
We'll definitely have to do that. So stay tuned. You'll be able to catch us on the Ferris wheel. Let's move on to the next location. I'm standing in a location right now which is actually along the boulevard. You can see behind me that the traffic is actually coming through. Starting tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock when the festival officially opens and the entertainment begins, all of this will be closed down. So from that point down there to all the way down towards the DCR police station will be wide open. It will be a pedestrian thoroughfare with food trucks, entertainment going on. There will be 2 stages, and of course people will have free access to view all of the sand sculpting work that's being done as we go along. So come back tomorrow morning, we'll show you what it looks like then. Okay, we're standing in front of one of the other locations here within the festival, and that's going to be the hospitality and exhibition
I
tent.
wish it was open right now.
Yeah, I know, it would be nice. At some point in time, there'll be drinks in there, and there'll be some food in there. It'll be so nice out of this
will
heat
be.
to go in and
Absolutely.
maybe have a drink at some point in time. But as we progress and as the whole site progresses, we'll come back to you and we'll get you a little bit inside view of what's inside the tent and some of the exhibits that are taking place.
There'll be some kids' exhibits in there, I guess, and there'll be some refreshments. And yes. But now they're just setting up. I guess they brought some tables and chairs down, and the workers are working real hard in this heat. I give them a lot of credit. It's been a tough week working in the heat.
It is. It's very sunny. It's very hot. The one saving grace is the fact that we're on the beach, and there's actually a little cool breeze coming off the water.
And thanks to our camera guys who are working in the heat. Thank you, guys.
Amen. It's easy for us to sit here and talk. You guys are lugging the equipment. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Well, that kind of wraps it up for us today.
Yeah, and where are we?
Looking at behind you, we just tagged this Revere Beaches version of the wall. And at some point in time, we'll do some close-ups, and you can see all the various names that are showing up on the wall, all the people that are contributing to this centerpiece as well as the festival as a whole. So it's pretty interesting to see as it evolves.
Yeah, we thought we'd close from the wall today, right? As we look marvelous today. But that is it for today, Thursday, and we can't wait. The weekend's beginning. This is it.
It's as I said, the energy is going to start ramping up, and it's going to get a lot of fun from here. Not that it hasn't been fun up to this point.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So for Revere TV, I'm Ed DeVoe.
And I'm Debbie Pesca.
Take care.